I talk to people who travel all over the world, they seem to come back with a similar message, and that is how happy people are in other parts of the world. Even though they have so little material goods, so little possessions in life, that's probably one of the most common statements, and yet we have to ask, why are they happy? And I have to ask, why aren't we as happy? There's an important connection in our lives that is missing, that many people around the world have a very deep heart-centered connection with, and that is the spiritual aspects. Our connection with ourselves deeply, our connection with our ancestors, our connection with relatives, friends, and even animals that are our pets. How come we are not as centered and joyful in life? Many cultures worship their ancestors, and many cultures really knew the depth of their own spirituality. We need to get better connected internally through meditation, through practicing spiritual systems. Many are new, many are ancient, many are simple, and many are complex. So it's very tough to make a decision and try to take these different systems on. Some cultures worship their ancestors and believe that they bring them power and guidance and advice. Some people worship spiritual leaders and believe that they have the answers and can bring them answers. Some have left teachings behind, writings behind, and we follow those as best we can, although times change and new spiritual systems come in and take their places and provide things that are needed for today's world, which is quite different than our ancestors. Subtle energies help us all on a spiritual path. Accessing them is a key to vitality, both personally and spiritually. They're a powerful tool to access, to work on spiritual advancement in many different ways. Some very pleasurable, and not like the ancient ways of sacrifice and showing and proving that you're worthy. You can also use these subtle energies to take a more active part in your health, in your well-being. You can use the energies to assist your physical, emotional, and mental and spiritual aspects of yourself, giving yourself a new, more powerful tool. In this day of modern medical modalities, oftentimes we see it as very complex, and we don't take a participatory, active part in it as much as our ancestors did. Our ancestors very much saw their own lifestyle as being important, more so than going to a doctor and getting a pill as we do. So as you use these subtle energies in systems such as Reiki and Huna, you can take an active role in providing yourself better health. Also, parents will find the usefulness of these energies because you can reduce the pain in a child. And I remember a neighbor of mine having this very noble, very beautiful idea, and I hadn't even thought of. And he said to me one day, you know, I wish I could just take the pain away from my child when they have that. And I thought, you know, that's a wonderful thought. And I have to admit that was something that I would really want to do. But why take the pain on when you can actually reduce the pain of another person and help them with their discomfort? It gives you a very active way of helping with your loved ones. So there's an ancient spiritual history with every culture. Everyone who has grown through a culture in the world has dealt with different spiritual aspects. Different cultures tune into different spiritual energies. Some tune into the chakra systems. Some tune into the meridian systems. Some tune into other energy points on the body with the mystical Kabbalah people enjoy different types of energies, just as we all enjoy different tastes in food and homes and cars. There was a sweeping wave of participation in this in the late 60s and early 70s. People began to go to these other cultures outside of the United States to receive energy attunement, or Shaktipada as the Hindu term is. There were many people who went to India and received these various what are called initiations or attunements that allow you to bring in certain frequencies of energies. In those times, people would go there, receive the attunements, and be able to do different meditations, bring different energies in associated with them, and found the gurus to be very powerful healers, and that these energies could be used for that as well. Coming back to the United States, many told fascinating stories and had wonderful, blissful experiences to talk about. But they weren't the only culture to give attunements. Most all of the ancient cultures did that. The techniques and disciplines vary quite a bit from culture to culture, and people will find that some of them are very enjoyable and some of them very rigorous and harsh and hard to do. So to each their own, as they say. Each individual will find